Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Education Ministry takes steps to address teacher shortage in public sector. Tour bus operator involved in Roach crash succumbed to injuries. And later in sports, Reggae boys to know Gold Cup quarter-final opponents today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shamela Pullen. Here are the details. The Ministry of Education has taken steps in response to the teacher shortage in the public sector. The measures come amid heightened concerns about what will happen come September. The details in this report.
In the 9-page document, the Education Ministry outlined several measures to cushion the impact of the teacher shortage. It states that pre-approval has been granted for teachers to be replaced where there are clear vacancies. School boards can now request an extension for teachers who are scheduled to proceed on retirement effective September 1, 2023. The boards can employ trained part-time individuals who may not be able to commit to a full-time work schedule. These persons should be employed for no more than 20 hours per week to fill areas of specialization. Additionally, teachers who have been retired since January 2018 may be recruited to fill temporary positions. The ministry says it will also continue to allow schools to recruit pre-trained graduates, that is, individuals with at least a first degree in specialized subject areas and where there's a teacher shortage. A number of specialist teachers have been retained and are deployed in primary schools as generalist teachers. These teachers, according to the ministry, have been permanently employed and some have been appointed as senior teachers. The ministry has also recruited Cuban teachers, and based on the requests from principals of primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions, 68 teachers, new and returning, have been employed to teach Spanish, chemistry, mathematics, and physics. Meanwhile, the ministry is urging school leaders to make contact with their regional office to explore other creative approaches to ensure that teaching and contact time is maximized at the school level.
The lower house is set to begin to debate on the amendments to the Child Care and Protection Act. The changes will impact how children deemed uncontrollable are treated. Education Minister Favour Williams provided details on TVJ Smile Jamaica this morning. No more locking up of children for perceived bad behavior. Education Minister Favour Williams says after today's debate in the House on the amendments to the Child Care and Protection Act, the process for the changes should not be long.
The process after the lower house, I'm expecting that it will be passed today.
Okay.
And then it moves to the upper house, where it is also debated, and if there are any corrections, additions, then it would happen there. And then it moves to assent by the GG and so on. But it would be a very short process left to go.
The debate will surround the appeal of Section 24 of the Act, which speaks to children being deemed uncontrollable because they're exhibiting maladaptive or antisocial behaviors that are seen as intolerable. Previously, parents or guardians could take their children deemed uncontrollable to the police. The children were then placed before the court. The judge would then send them to state care.
So now we want a mind shift. The law is going to stop using that term uncontrollable, and we're going to go to behavioral issues. And of course, behavioral issues on a range, right, from mild to chronic. So in the instance in which a child is brought before the court, then the judge can make an assessment based on reports that would be done, assessment by psychologists or psychiatrists in order to inform the decision that that judge will make.
As part of the changes, the Maxfield Park Center was opened last week to provide therapeutic care to children.
But that's where the child and his or her family would meet the professionals. You have observation rooms where a professional can be outside looking in and see how that child and parent interact with each other, can see how the child interacts with what's in the room. You have a sensory room if that child has special needs, and so on. So we have this location now to which parents and professionals can meet, and you can begin the process of healing.
Meanwhile, the Education Minister reiterated the need for more mental health experts to deal with children.
We want to see way more social workers that are trained operating in our facilities, who know how to interact in a proper way with the children, the adolescents they come across. We have to do that. We have a number of children in state care in different modalities. We have some in families, and so the training is absolutely needed to help us lift the standards in that sector.
To a TVJ News follow-up now, the tour bus operator involved in the crash along the Rose Hall Main Road in Montego Bay, St. James, yesterday morning died while being treated in hospital. He has been identified as 62-year-old Christopher Ricketts. JCAL President Brian Thelwell says Mr. Ricketts was an asset to the local tourism ministry.
As an ambassador in the tourism industry, I can tell you he was first class. He has been providing services to Rio, the ship, especially Falmouth cruise ship here, for more than a decade.
Meanwhile, the 3 Jamaica Defence Force soldiers remain in hospital in stable condition. To news now in politics, Councillor for the Hayes Division, Cian Barneswell, has expressed his intention to represent the People's National Party in Clarendon Southeastern in the next general election. He made the revelation at a party meeting on the weekend.
And the time come. The time come because I think the people of Southeast need proper representation. I think the time come because the people would have seen how I've performed.
The former mayor of Maypen, Cian Barneswell, is talking up his chances of taking the MP job in Southeastern Clarendon. But to do so, he will have to wrest the seat from the JLP's Pernell Charles Jr. The PNP's Patricia Duncan Sutherland failed to win the seat in the last 2 tries. But Mr. Barneswell feels if he can propose workable solutions for some of the social issues in the constituency, the people will give him their support.
Since the Monimus factory closed, South Clarendon is almost a poverty-stricken area. The issue we want to take on is all crime and violence, and that will need partnership not only with the community but with also civil society, with the police. We need to establish youth club, we need to establish citizen association, we need to establish a neighborhood watch. The facilities at the primary school level, for example, a simple fun in a classroom make a whole lot of difference, because if a child is out, there's no way they can learn. They will tend to sleep.
Mr. Barneswell was speaking at a conference in the constituency Sunday evening. PNP President Mark Golding, who attended, told party loyalists to support Mr. Barneswell.
Everybody here, I want you to support Comrade Barneswell and the other PNP candidates in this division and in this constituency and in this parish, because we have to win back Southeast Clarendon in the next election.
Mr. Barneswell said he will, however, continue to focus on issues at the local government level, where he is currently the councillor for the Hayes Division. And among the immediate tasks will be to find a replacement to represent the PNP in Hayes in the local government election.
We are not there yet because our parish council election to call. The MP thing will come after, but we have people who are capable nevertheless within the division. We have vice chairmen who are capable. We have other persons in the division that are capable, but it's something which we have to collectively look at the best person. So we have not yet identified an individual yet, but we have several persons that we are looking at.
The PNP, in the meantime, reiterated its intention to get the court's intervention should the local government election be postponed again.
I was thinking about it when they postponed it the last time, that we should take the matter before the courts. And I'm happy that the comrade leader, Mark Jefferson Golden, decided that if any further extension of the local government election, he'll be taking the matter to the court. And not only, he alone will be doing it, but I know that other councillors will be putting up some money to ensure we have the representation needed in terms of legal fees to take this matter as far as possible, because the people need proper representation. The act is clear and the election should have been called.
Hal Shane Burke, TVJ News.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. The police today seized more than 150 rounds of ammunition in an early morning operation in Bogue, St. James. The lawmen were in search of a murder suspect identified as Kenroy Roach, otherwise called Thickerweed. Roach is on the police's most wanted list. The ammunition was found in a house. No arrests were made. The St. Andrew South Police Division have named 5 persons of interest they believe can assist in quelling the ongoing conflict in the Bow Thailand community on Spanish Town Road. Acting head of the St. Andrew South Police Division, Damian Manderson, provided an update.
We're talking about George Williams, O.C. Devon. There's a young man that goes by the name Sixpence. There is Eddie Francis, O.C. Juki. All these 3 men are from the Big Yard faction or the Big Yard gang in Bow Thailand. We also need to speak to Rico, true name unknown. Travis Vassal, O.C. Rue is a critical player in the midst of all of this as well, and we need to speak with him, and we're asking his family, asking his mother and his family members from the Kid Lane, Norman Lane space where these guys are from, to have them come in and speak with us before it is too late.
The police are making another appeal for the public's assistance in their investigations into the murder of 8-year-old Daniel Rowe. Head of the St. Catherine South Police Division, Senior Superintendent Christopher Phillips says the investigation is being handled by the St. Andrew Central Division. He says the detectives will meet to review the progress of the case later this week.
So things still remain the same, and I would still use the opportunity to make another appeal, to all our citizens there in the St. Catherine South Division. Perhaps somebody shared something with you, or you know a friend who know a friend, or you know somebody who, might have been in that era. Anybody with any information can share would really assist us.
Daniel was taken from the Brayton Primary and Infant School in Portmore, St. Catherine on June 8. She was found seriously wounded in St. Andrew and later died in hospital. It's time for the Business Minute.
The return of increased production at the Clarendon-based Jamaica alumina refinery has significantly boosted the country's mining and quarrying industry. Statin says the segment grew by 114.7% in the first quarter due to higher production of alumina. Alumina production grew by 197% to 307,000, up from 103,000 tons in Q1 of 2022. The Jamaica plant was closed in the comparable period of 2022 after a fire. The increased production also pushed up the volume of alumina exported. On the international scene, the Federal Aviation Administration has certified for testing a vehicle a California startup calls a flying car. It's the first fully electric vehicle to get U.S. government approval that can both fly and travel on roads. Aleph Automotive says its Model A vehicle aircraft is the first flying vehicle that is drivable on public roads and can park like a normal car. It has vertical takeoff and landing capabilities and will be able to carry 1 or 2 occupants. Its range will be 200 miles on the road and 110 miles in the air. The company expects to sell each vehicle for $300,000, with the first delivery projected for the end of 2025. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Hal Shane Burke.
Thank you, Hal Shane. Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, incoming chairman of CARICOM, Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, has outlined an ambitious plan to further advance integration across the region. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the Treaty of Chaguaramas, which established the Caribbean Community in 1973. Mr. Skerrit says as the region confronts the issues of the day, including climate-related challenges, conflict and economic uncertainty, there must be a redoubling of efforts to protect the livelihood of the peoples of the region. Regional leaders are in Trinidad and Tobago for the 45th regular conference of CARICOM heads of government. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Carrie Ann Simpson.
We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report with Jermaine Brown.